In this experiment, we are going to learn about diet basics. What you need to have is one M for diet and one resistor here. For part 3.1, we need to use a 10K resistor, and then we will have the input signal, which is a sine wave with 5 to peak and 16 hertz. So let's move to the circuit. Here you can see the circuit. This is one diode. Here is the positive of the diode and here is the negative of the diode. This silver line, gray line shows the negative. This is a 10K resistor. We inject the input to the positive of the diode, and here is the ground. This pin of the resistor is connected to the ground. Then what else you need to know? You need to know that, so I have two grounds here. I have separated the grounds into two parts because it was not enough, the number of connections were not enough. This line is ground, this line is ground too. I have connected the negative inputs of the oscilloscope to the ground. This blue one and this orange one are grounded, and I have used one of the oscilloscopes to see the positive of the channel 1 to see the input sine wave, and this blue one is another channel to see the output of this simple circuit. So you need to open the waveform generator, and you need to open the oscilloscope. The waveform generator needs to be a sine wave, 60 Hz and 5 volt peak to peak. You run the waveform generator and you run the oscilloscope. You see that input has been rectified into output. You need to make these values, that you have. Next part of this experiment is asking you to change the input voltage to square wave. Now you can see the output. The next part of the experiment is asking you to make the circuit. R1 is 100K and C1 is 1 microfarad, the rest is like before, and it needs you. Let's move to the circuit first. Here you can see the new configuration. Again, we have this one N4004 diode. Here is positive, here is negative. This is a 100K resistor, and this is a 1 microfarad capacitor. And the rest of the configuration is like before. So we are going to inject a sine wave with frequency 60 Hz and amplitude 5 volt peak to peak to this circuit, and we need the oscilloscope. You run the waveform generator and then you run the oscilloscope. You press single to have one wave at a time. Then using this option here, you can measure the ripple. You can see that for C2 the delta is this much, which is the ripple. Here I have shunted R1 with a 10K resistor. This is R1 and this is the 10K resistor which has been placed in parallel with the 100K. Here you can see the result of shunting R1 with a 10K resistor. So the ripple has increased, as you can see, by this much. This part of the question is asking you to make a bridge rectifier. You need 1N4004 diodes, and the configuration is that you need a 100K resistor here, a 1 microfarad capacitor here, and this ground doesn't mean that you need to ground this node. This for the oscilloscope. This is the positive output of the oscilloscope, and this is the negative output of the oscilloscope. This is the positive wave gen 1, the yellow wire, and this is wave gen 2, but with the red, the yellow wire, the white strip on it. Now let's move to the circuit. Here you can see the circuit. So this is diode D1, this is diode D2, and you can see that this is positive and this is negative. The one that has the gray strip, or the pin that has the gray strip, is negative, and this is D3 and this is D4. You have a 100K resistor between this node and this node, and you have a 1 microfarad capacitor, positive, which means the larger pin is this side, and negative is this side. And make sure that you do not put these connections in a line. So these two need to be separated from these two. Now let's connect the input. The input, as I said, is the yellow one with without the strip and the yellow one with the strip. So according to the figure 3, the wavegen 1 needs to go to this node, the connection of these two diodes here, and wavegen 2, the one that has white strip on it, the yellow one with white strip, goes here. Okay, and then you want an oscilloscope to see the input. So I'm going to use the orange one, the first one, to see the input. The one that doesn't have a strip goes to here, and the one that has a strip on it goes here. Now we need the channel 2 to see the output, the blue one. The one that doesn't have a strip on it goes here. And the one that has a strip on it goes here. Now your circuit is ready for work. So wave generator to produce input sine wave 60 Hz, 5 volt peak to peak, and I need the oscilloscope, and you run the waveform generator and run the scope. Single you can see that your full wave rectifier is working. To measure the ripple, use this one as I said here, and from here to here is your ripple, which is 93 millivolts.